Wayward Renegade Witches blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done, as you're hearing the rain behind me to cleanse the universal soul and uproot the bullshit. As you already know, art is occultism. Occultism is an art. And Wayward is about their revenge, redemption, and responsibility. Okay, and you know the one-on-one lessons are going on, but I kind of ended them a little bit early due to the holiday because I'm celebrating Christmas. I don't know what the fuck you're going to do, because some of you people do need to celebrate Christmas so you could get some funds up in that bank account and understand that fucking spell work instead of listening to all this bullshit telling you what it is, what it ain't, and what is paganism, what is not, and what you shouldn't be doing. And you listen to all that shit from man. Real shit. Anyway, let's see here. On December 6, 2023, I received an interesting text. In the text, from area code 210-891-07 and a 3. You see, I didn't give you the last number. It says, "Hello, is this Eveline fat ass?" No, like were they talking about me being a fat ass? Okay. They continued on to say, "I need a job in a factory. Can you do some real motherfucking work for me?" And I said, you know what? I felt that day, I feel like being petty. So I called them back. And I said, look, bitch, because you know I'm petty and I'm immature. I'm one of them. I said, look, bitch. I read back her text, what she wrote me. She said she didn't text me. Or this person said that they didn't text me. I said, you did. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Then I accidentally didn't hang up and I started talking about their ass. Then they were still on the line. And then they said, it wasn't me. It was you, bitch. Because then after all that, they kept calling me back. Then they ended up texting me some dumbass shit. Okay? Let me say this. In the world of occultism, I've never heard of this kind of mess. This is some cyber social media bullshit. That you get people doing this type of weird ass shit. And let me say this to you. I may be on YouTube, but I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a business. I do occultism. That's what I do. Okay? But this kind of weird shit, this is weird. These people have just nothing to them. And this is why the world works the way that it works. And that's why things are happening the way that they're happening. Just to say all of that. Last week, I had to go to San Francisco. And I was on a flight. And I was talking to a Japanese woman. She was Japanese and Chinese. And we were talking about history and different energies and stuff, right? But I'm going to get to her in a minute. When I went to San Francisco, I don't regret leaving. Because that's a depressive city. And I went on and I was walking the streets and I was picking up on energies and I said, damn, some things I miss, but many things I don't. Where I ended up staying was in Chinatown. I was tripped out that I didn't see any Chinese people. Not in the morning, not in the afternoon, and not even in the evening. I was tripped out on this bus line called One California. I didn't even see Asians there. I was like, where did they go? What happened? Where are all the kids? Where are all the teens? Where is the life? How come a lot of the black people look down and out? what is the frequency? How come in various corners of various San Francisco neighborhoods, there's tents? There's scary thing where you have a person literally sitting in like the corner of the garage. What the fucks? Their billboards talk about fucking AI. Oakland is more popping, which is just across the bridge. But I'm sure there's things going on there too, of course, right? And I said, whatever type of spell work is going on in San Francisco, it's a cold game and it's a cold spell. And it is sad as fuck. And it's very interesting how they are emptying out these cities to create their biotechnology cities and their pod housing. I heard that in Fillmore, they're tearing down the subsidized housing to build condos. You see over there on Treasure Island how they built those damn condos. And I'm like, well, who is this for? Who's paying for this, right? But it made me think about, as we are living in this crazy ass lifestyle as Black people, everybody else is trying to make money. We not watching people. Like, for example, this bewitchery of Michelle Wu of uninviting white people to a holiday celebration or whatever was going on. And people didn't think that was odd. People didn't think that was some kind of outright racism going on. People didn't think that in this universal soul they're creating cults. In New York, they have a cult called Closures, where now people are wanting to communicate with each other. Because remember, they have people with that no contact energy, right? So more and more, you're going to see more cults popping up. And a lot of it is falling into the millennials and Gen Zs, because now they want to entertain each other, but within their own circles. And they're creating their own lifestyle. They're creating this movement. So in this energy called Closer, basically you sign up for it, and then you end up in this undisclosed location, and you go have dinner. They give you wine. You're mingling with strangers that you don't know. All because niggas out here are lonely. People out here looking for friends. They're creating meetups. But the meetups is a subculture. Okay? This mayor, Michelle Wu, she's only 38. And yes, I said outright, because the person that she follows and she's connected to is this person called Ed Bloom. And Ed Bloom is that person who they put up to allegedly finance that whole affirmative action movement, shutting down Black businesses, talking about what is racist. It is racist to have funding for Black people or funding for anything dealing with Black energy and so on. Okay, so the whole structure is to tear down what is Black, right? I wondered, I said, what is her end game? Because that is very odd for her to be Chinese and she uninvites white folks and they are honorary white people. That don't sound right to me. It sounds like they up to something. It's on the same lines as, I'm going to call them little Aliguas. They're full of chaos. Ever since this movement, I'm going to call it the more push for Asian movement, it's been a lot of more chaos in the universal soul. And it's been a lot of financing for our turmoil. They're picking and choosing what they want to finance. They'll fuck with you if you want to go to Vegas and you want to have a residency. Like, you understand that Wu-Tang is going to have allegedly a residency in Vegas. Usher just, I guess, finished his residency. And notice that there's a lot of Black people now supposedly having their residency in Vegas. What happened to Bruno Mars? You see that they shut down Britney Spears. It is something up with that. Okay, so what they're doing is categorizing black people as only entertainers, but in a certain scope. Okay, you have Jonathan Majors that's lost his whole deal. What is that about? That whole case didn't make any fucking sense, and nobody can make it make sense. I don't even believe that was him running down the street, and I don't believe that's her running down the street, because the whole energy looked weird. It looked like a whole movie set to me. Okay? The courtroom looked like a whole movie set to me. You got that whole craziness going on with Tory Lanez. Meanwhile, you have hospitals purposely targeting black women, trying to steal organs. That's what they was trying to do with my cousin. That's why I had to go to San Francisco. They was trying to take her esophagus and stuff like that, and Killer Kaiser Hospital, Killer Kaiser. Kaiser loved killing black women, allegedly. Most time when black women go get surgery done at Kaiser, you are afraid for your life. We're not talking about how more and more black people are having throat problems. Can't swallow and shit. And their alternative is just to take your esophagus. I had no clue that if you donate your organs that they'll pay for your funeral arrangements. Not until my aunt was telling me how my cousin, who overdosed on fentanyl and methanol, was brain dead, but the organ people were there to take his organs and offered to pay for the funeral. And I said, well, if he was in trouble due to the drugs, then why would his how his organs, how would they even be healthy? Makes you wonder what they really do, right? But basically, they were there to take his organs. We're not watching. We are distracted about what the fuck is going on in Israel and how much that fake ass money they're giving to the Ukraine. Probably money they already owe them. That's none of our business. Who gives a fuck about Hunter Biden? I wonder is that really his mother, because he looked like he half Latino. They created a laws around him. And he doesn't get the same, how can I say, the same judicial system issues as a black person or anyone else. So why would we care? I need to look at these Asians. I need to figure out why China up there lying, talking about they're going to take over Taiwan. Why did I learn that the first slaves were the Chinese? Not these hybrids that you see, but the Chinese that were darker skinned, the one that they say they were blue-black, and Japanese. Why am I learning that they say if you test the blood of a Chinese, you will see that they're mutts? They have everything in their blood. Why did I learn that lower level, as they call it, this is from an Asian person, a lower level Chinese person is racist and discriminatory and jealous. And they're purposely going over there to Africa to take over because they're jealous of the resources and the people. And that they do have a hatred. And then if these people have a hatred for us, then who in the fuck is investing? Who are these people? We didn't set up and let them create laws, permits, all this bullshit. I don't know what that shit is, because I don't see how you need to do all these hours in cosmetology school to braid hair. But wait a minute. That means enough black people are not speaking up. Because I was listening to this person in Texas who basically braids hair and teaches to braid hair, but she's an IFA. But then I had the Japanese woman ask me, I don't understand why black people are in that pagan religion. I said, what do you mean? Because she's just validating everything I said to y'all. She said, Ifa and Santeria is pagan. That's white orientated. It's created by white people. I said, but meanwhile, you have all these people talking about Igbo this and Yoruba this, and you saying it's created by white people, tapped in with the Spanish culture. And she was like, I don't understand, because Christianity really did benefit you, because that's where you had your most wealth. Well, she's not lying. Because we're listening to people talk about Christmas is this and Christmas is that. I don't have time to be listening to no white people or white witches talk about that they're going to explain what the fuck Christmas is. They don't even fucking know. They make up all type of shit. White people didn't set up and let them call you a Karen. They didn't shut down the militia. They didn't shut down the whole conspiracy theory energy. White people got to worry about themselves, because they're being neutralized. I had a spiritual constituent in Dublin, and what she was telling me, it wasn't that many of them. But over there in Ireland, apparently there's a whole energy of Brazilians, even Mexicans. Why are we not talking about the Asians that they had in the islands in those internment camps? Now it makes a lot of sense to why they were in Jamaica, Cuba, and all of that in Haiti. Because they were also enslaved. They were slaves to the colonizers that were on those islands. They were working for them. But they're not telling you is that they were working for them before they went and got the African people. What they're not telling you is that they lied to us and told us that they went over there to China and got the Chinese people and brought them back into America to work the railroads. No, they set them free. And then they were looking for work, and they gave them jobs to work the railroads. My question is, why are we not understanding what's really going on out here? Because it's not sensationalized. Why are they not talking about this new information that they're coming out talking about with the Holocaust? That the Holocaust may have been a hoax, for real, that, not to be disrespectful or rude, but they're talking about from 1919 into the 20s, that there were different articles, and they showed the articles of them talking about the economic downfall in Germany and other countries, in basically European countries, and starvation and hunger, over 6 million. And in each article, it talks about over 6 million Then they get to the Nazi era. So what they're insinuating in newspapers like the Gazette and all of that during this time, they're saying, hey, what pictures are we looking at? This was already happening before Hitler came in. What the fuck? We are afraid to talk about that. They don't want you to talk about that because there are articles and reports that prove and debunk that that whole Nazi energy may not have been fully true. And why are they saying more and more black servicemen were respected in Germany? Why is it now when black men go to play basketball and go to China, they're being taunted, they're being called niggers? Why did they lie to us about the Oklahoma, the energy that happened in the massacre in Oklahoma? And why didn't they tell us that they rebuilt they rebuilt the town, and the money and the economic status was still moving within the community? The wealth was still going. And they said it was going all the way till around between 1945 and 1950. So what changed? What happened? These are the things that we should understand so we don't keep repeating the same cycle. We need to look at the cycle in the game because they keep bewitching us, and we don't understand history, and we don't want to listen to anybody. See, we think that we have to Google it and read it, or we think we have to look at a documentary. We're getting too caught up in Cameron talking about Melissa Ford and how he should have went to Ice-T to go pay for her or whatever, and Ice-T was pimping her out. Why are we listening to that shit? He on social media being so disrespectful, and everybody in the world is looking at this. They paying these niggas to do that. I was looking at Alicia Keys, and I was looking at how horrible she looked. And I said, when are black women, or women will say, but black women going to go back and be the leaders in the Bible? Why can't we be Jezebel? They cannot stand Sheba, and they hate Delilah. They can't stand Sarah. How did we let men take over us? It looked like Alicia Keys had a lobotomy. Did you see that shit with Orlando Brown? The shit he was saying, I'm not going to say it's wrong or right. But when he popped out and said allegedly Beyonce has AIDS, I was like, we all involved in this love and in this love tat that's going on between Christian Keys and Tyler Perry. Why is this our business? He's just not his boyfriend anymore. He's gazy. Columbus Short. Why in the fuck would we listen to him and Puff Daddy when we already know the what's up? Why would we give a fuck about Nelly and Irv Gotti and Ashanti when we already know Ashanti was scandalous, a scandalous ass bitch, and was smiling up in Irv Gotti's wife's face knowing she was fucking her man? And you niggas running around here talking about you happy for her. Usher concert talking about inclusion as he has a lead Asian dancer. Jay-Z mother sitting up there, and there's a question of, is that really his mother? Because her wife, they say, it's like a vampire. And Jay-Z's mother's handler. They were seen at the concert, and there was a conversation with them. This is the dumb shit that's going on. We have actors dying constantly. Andre Braugher. In white people news, there's some illogical ass shit going on. How in the fuck does Paris Hilton don't see her mother for a whole year, and her mother basically didn't know she had a fucking baby? How in the fuck does Britney Spears' father get his leg amputated? The fuck? How in the hell are we going to continuously let these implants and people sit in and talk about Anita Baker? The fuck? Ryan O'Neal mean ass died. The actor. We all know he's mean as fuck and his kids are all fucked up. How in the hell they gonna have Marla Gibbs 92 who almost passed out when she got her star? Now she's back on the scene acting. What they about to do? Preserve her? How in the hell do we give a fuck, but this is a damn shame of how Jodie Turner-Smith feels about her ex Jonathan Jackson, so the black woman who's married to the white man. Now he's dating Lupita, but then Lupita up there pretending to be Cicely Tyson now. And I don't even know it's her because her nose has changed, her face has changed, her body has changed, so I don't know who this is. How stupid and how ghetto is it to, and I'm going to say just like that, to have Monica Dayton see murder in prison and talk about she brokenhearted? I'm like, how is that happening? Are they married? What? And you telling me that shit sounds right to you? Cult movie. Love Has Won, The Cult of Mother God. Look, I'm more interested of this board that she has in this cult documentary, this alleged cult documentary, where she has all these dead people that she basically summons. My question is, how come Trump is on there? Why is Trump on this board? Why is Tom Cruise on the board? Would we say she crazy? Or is she on to something? Everybody else is dead on this board. My question is, why is it on this board from this documentary? Tom Cruise is on there. Carol Burnett, I thought she was still alive, and Trump. Did Whitney Houston was she really set up from the music industry? Or was that a drug debt that she didn't pay? Because when you hear old stories, she was paying Bobby Brown's drug debt. I'm just asking questions allegedly, since we want to be in people's business. Being in people's business, are we going to sit up here and act like Jennifer Lopez didn't choke the fuck out of Jennifer Lewis and her larynx and her vocal cords? Are you telling me that woman who stood right behind Jennifer Lewis, pulling from her spine, had her arm and shit around her neck, wasn't pulling energy? Some of you low vibration niggas will sit up and say, oh, that's chakra. Bitch, that's Soul Mountain. Now I understand why in the fuck she's up there having another album come out. And she been working with that Steve Mackey guy, that 7 Day Adventist dude. We all know Jennifer Lopez is a fucking soul, is a fucking soul sucker. And somebody trying to give her kudos? Nah, that bitch was soul sucking off of her. That's a cold game, and that's a cold piece of spell work. Black people better get back in their work, because they're making religion a more of a political energy, almost like a permit to be in spirituality and occultism. You better watch and see. As you're sleeping. We so blind and so novelty. Jean-Paul Basquiat, was he even real? I told you about his last name. Was he real? Because Basquiat really means sorcerer and witch. Medea really means witch. Rihanna, and these and they're spelled in a certain way, but it's the name, means witch. You guys go into all these Medea movies not even knowing that you're being witchcrafted and bewitched and what the name really meant. Y'all niggas up there doing work at the crossroads, but not knowing the story of the crossroads is where people brought their loved ones who committed suicide and buried them there, so their soul can remain dormant and don't come back and ghost them. So you guys go to these crossroads and not really understanding what you're calling on. You're calling on troubled souls that were suicidal. Cats are the devils, because the story that they talk about how cats were created, they said something else was supposed to be created, but cats were created. And cats are birthed from the devil. Why didn't we ask questions when we seen Jimmy Carter was exhumed from the cemetery, from the grave, and they had him sit up there at his wife's funeral? I was scared as fuck. I said, damn, I'm scared. What the fuck is that? We up there watching a dead man. We need to stop listening to Jaguar Wright. People are tripping that they thought Henry Kissinger been dead. Well, shit, I heard Warren Buffett been dead. People up there tripping on Norman Lear. 101. Isn't he a thief? Isn't the black man who really wrote Good Times, listen, Good to Know, Family, All in the Family and all that? He stole. Also Good Times. Good Times was stole by a black man. People out here talking about Forrest Whitaker's wife and the anorexia. You sure it was anorexia? Because you know, the rumor, and his interesting parties. I'm going to leave it there. We're going to keep up with these people, and we got our own issues going on, and we need to watch our own backs. That's why I said the Asian people are little illegals. You got to understand who they are. Let me tell you something. I had a situation. I was telling people the story. I had this person. She's from Mongolia. She picked me up in a car. I had to go to UPS, and I was taking stuff out of the house, putting it in the car. When I was done, I got in the car, and she said, "You need to be careful." I said, "Why?" "You just need to be careful." I said, "I am careful for nothing. What are you talking about?" "Oh, there was this person who walked by and asked me, 'Was I your daughter?'" I said, "Were you my daughter?" "Yes." He asked me, "Was I your daughter?" And I said, "No." And then he asked me, what do you do for a living?" I was pissed. I went to UPS. But through that, I was asking her, then she said that he stopped and started talking to my neighbor. I said, "He was talking to the neighbor?" She was like, "Yes." I said, "Okay." So after I went to UPS, I said, "Let's go back because I need to talk to the neighbor because I want to know who that is questioning you about me." Then all of a sudden she started to try to kind of backpedal. I said, So I went to the house. It was a white guy to my neighbor, and we talked. And he said, "Well, he's an older guy, this and that." I said, "Okay, you're older white man, white man." I said, "Okay, whatever." The spirit said, "Look on the camera so you can fully see what the conversation was." Now, remind you, she told me he asked her, "Was she my daughter?" Which didn't make sense. "And what do I do for a living?" So I went and found the footage on the video. I found the video, I found the footage. I listened. The white man walked by with his wife. He stopped. And the question was, "Are you the daughter of the people who used to live there?" She gave him a sharp no. She said it just like this, "No," and turned her head. And he said, "Oh, I just want to know how they are doing." Where did that, wait a minute, huh? You just told me they were asking about my business. And if you were my daughter, and that's not what that man said. And there was not a language barrier. That's what we have to be careful of as Black people. If you want to fuck around. Anyway. And another question. What happened to Black people protesting Balenciaga and Gucci? What happened to that? Why are white women designing bonnets now, talking about that they're the first? Should we trust Black-owned birthing centers because who's behind it, who's profiting from it, who's investing in it? And I don't trust anything that if you got to tell me that you Black-owned, I don't trust you. Just have a business. If you got to tell me you Black-owned, then I'm going to think that you are governed by something. In DC, they have birthing centers, a new birthing center, a new black one. I know a sister right now who's trying to open up a birthing center that's on the up and up. I don't trust this shit. What you about to do with those placentas? What you about to do with those umbilical cords? What you about to do? I don't trust you. If you got to tell me that you are the first of anything, I don't trust you. Just like the first black sperm bank, I don't trust you in DC. Oh, she just being negative. It's black owned. No, I'm not. Because I grew up back in the day where black people did not say I'm black owned. It's just a business, or it's just in a black neighborhood and you just go there. Now you have things like we buy black, black this, black that. We are black owned. Just open your fucking business and make your goddamn money. Nobody else trip on if it's black owned or not. Just open your fucking shit and make your coins. What are you supported by? Who's backing you? What the fuck are therapy babies? These latex whatever babies that now I'm seeing black women holding fake ass babies talking about these are therapy babies. The fuck? When did black women start doing that? Anyway. We still being Jim Crowed and Willie lynched. We don't ask any questions. Friday at 5:44 a.m. I was looking out the window and I seen something blue fall out the sky in two parts. I said, what the fuck is that? Is that a plane crash? And it shot down really big. I looked on the news. I was hoping the neighbors next door or whatever would talk about it. I didn't hear nothing. I was telling my son about it. I'm doing a video. Close the door. What? The remote. Look on the thing. Or look inside that thing. I asked my son, I was like, what you think about it? He said it might have been a falling star. Then he was like, maybe it was a satellite. I was like, I don't think it was a satellite. It was creepy. But nobody's talking about it. It didn't light up the skies or anything. It just shot straight down. And I don't know where it went. These are the weird things happening in the universal soul. Anyway. Did y'all know the Great Wall of China was actually allegedly built by black people? What y'all think about baby fat coming back out in an android? And we see Russell Simmons' daughters modeling and trying to advertise it. He sure put them in a position that they getting pimped out. Damn. Yeah, here it is. I'm reading it right now. Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. It was a person named Solomon Sir Jones who recorded everything from 1921 to 1940. And they said it was rebuilt and it was successful. So I'm a little confused. They rebuilt it. And some of you guys out here listening to that craziness of T.D. Jakes having sex with Puff Daddy. Most likely he did. And what? We are still not going to ask questions on how come our business keep getting put out there. We have no questions. We can't live in that world. We're not part of that. That's their world. That's the world that the Asians are creating. The little liquids. Notice it. You better peep it. Then there's other people behind it. They always want to talk about all these Rothschilds. We don't even know if they're still alive. Who are these people? Who are these bloodlines? Why are people scared for their lives? Do you understand? There's a man in Africa that created his own language and his own writings. People angry, I forgot of that African chief that went to Moscow and was showboating. These African chiefs should absolutely be ashamed of themselves. The way they have separated the black woman and the black man, and then replaced the black woman to be with an Asian that takes the land. There's a whole bunch of mixed kids out there that are Asian and black. That's a spirit. That's an entity. That's usury. It's fucked up. That's bewitchery. It's witchcraft. To fuck up a whole energy. Then you got crazy ass Kanye West talking about who's Indian, and dealing with him. You don't know if he's talking about East Indians. Because we don't want to get intertwined into that. Because the new movement is to merge the Indians in with black people. Because remember, they're living over there in Africa and in different parts of the islands. And they love stealing all type of materials and energies from Africa. Be careful of that one, because that's intertwining a whole other frequency. Anyway, this is a little tidbit. This is Wayward Renegade Witches Blog. Hit us up when you want some real motherfucking work done.